Legends will rise based on their merits. There's even pirates riding parrots. It's the grand tournament.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to Unleash the podcast. As you can tell, there's some hype going on right now in the Hearthstone world. As I think
we got the Blevins singing hype train going.
Right, longest intro ever. I don't know who choked worse, you or Trump, but we will have to just carry on through it anyways, nonetheless. And yeah, so basically we got our new set announcement. It's going to be up front with you guys. There's a part of me that died inside at the end of it, and that's the part in me that we were talking last week. The Blizzard hype train. It's it's rolling down the tracks. What are they? This has to be more than just one set announcement. Why would they call it? Why would they be so weird and say, let's take a look at the new direction that this game is going to be going in, and you know what I mean? And not just be like, the live new set announcement is this, now we know what to expect going forward. It kind of sets the stage.
It's always disappointment.
Yeah, but I don't, they went a little too far with the hype, I guess, compared to what they've done in the past. I don't mind them upping the ante. But they definitely got me excited for something other than just the new set. I thought I had myself pretty well convinced there was going to be more to it. And there's a little bit, and I'm not even going to troll that hard. There's nothing more to it.
There's literally nothing more.
No.
Are we going to do it?
There's a slide. I can't not do it. But, we'll talk about the little...
I thought you did put the slide in.
Oh, there's definitely a slide.
Okay, there was... It wasn't just a set. For those of you who didn't watch it, there was a little teaser that we'll kind of get to in a little bit of the other thing. It's a long bit.
Show. No, this is
a long con.
In a long while that we're going to get to it because it's the last slide, and we have a million things to discuss.
Yes.
So, anyways, there's a little something else we learned during the live broadcast that we'll talk about later as well that we thought was funny. So, part of the new set, as they said up front, you get a new game board. John, I know you're a big fan of the game boards, and we didn't see the players experiment with it and play with it, but we did hear Eric Dods talk about shooting arrows, and we do see the archery board.
You get to shoot arrows, and then he would just awkwardly laugh this really. It was gut wrenching hearing him talk. It's so awkward. It's so awkward.
It was a visceral stomach sound that you know what I mean. It came from deep. It was It was definitely a little weird.
It's like you see a performer up on stage, and they can take anything. You see any comedian go up on stage, and they're ready for people to throw stuff at them, and they have a comeback ready. He's just a random nerd, just like the rest of us. Didn't know what to do. He had everything planned out, and if anything didn't go the way it went, he just was and he goes, we're gonna reveal a hunter card, and everyone just goes boo. and he's just it's real. It's really exciting, guys. It's a really exciting. It's just completely ignores the crowd, doesn't address the fact that people are actively booing, and that's a really huge community thing that everyone hates Hunter. Just doesn't acknowledge it at all. Just oh, you guys don't. Okay. It was really awkward.
In his defense, it's got to be super difficult to not he's just a game developer. You know what I mean? These guys have no training and. It's a little tough to do.
Public speaking training, he's done conventions and stuff before.
Yeah, I don't know. It wasn't too bad. I've seen a lot.
It wasn't the worst
awkward things, but it was definitely a little funny.
Sure.
So yes, we're getting 130 plus new cards here. Separate card packs, just like GVG and Classic packs. There'll now be a third option. They will cost exactly the same. So all you trolls on the internet, you can stop with that. It's not going to change and be something that's variable. And the cool thing that we learned was that you can pre-purchase the sets next week. Doing so gets you this fancy card back.
apparently some amount of discount, which I'm imagining isn't going to be that much.
No, it probably won't be much, but when you're like me and you're talking about, buying $60 sets of packs just twice because the set came out, any little bit helps. So it's much appreciated.
No, it's definitely appreciated for sure. It's probably going to sucker me into buying it at least one iteration to get the card back.
Right.
Because it's a pretty sweet card back, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely cool. It's a little heavy on the pink for my tastes.
See, it's not pink though. It's not pink. It's I don't know what color exactly that is, but it's not pink. It's like, there's a little bit of pink. It's like hot pink and like mauve. Which is nice. Yeah.
I just, to those ribbons to me, now I am colorblind, so it could just be like straight up purple and I wouldn't know.
The background is white and like a pretty solid like dark violet purple, and the ribbon is like hot pink.
Okay, yeah, that's definitely pink. Good. I don't usually screw that one up, but it is kind of like a darker overall pink.
It is dark. Yeah, it definitely is darker.
Anyways, still looks really nice. I look forward to having it. I'll probably use it a good amount since I don't care much, and I'm sure I'll set it there for a while and forget for a couple weeks.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice change from the Heroes card back, which has just been top tier ever since it came out.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a cut above most of them. I'm just not sure about one of the best. Anyways, enough about the stupid things. Which, I'm sorry if you actually enjoy them, but compared to the actual cards. Compared to the actual cards.
We're getting to the meat.
Yeah, we're going to move on and talk about the most disappointing one of them all, Sky Captain Crag.
Whoa.
I said it, man.
He has charge.
Okay. He's a 7-mana 4/6 with charge, and he costs 1 less for each friendly pirate. Okay. I guess it's just a little too high of a base cost for me, but that is a really significant toughness. So it'll depend. What other good pirates are we going to see? Can you really fill out a pirate deck now?
Well, I mean, we talked about the the Paladin pirate deck, which is like it has like some decent cards for it. I guess like you need this to be like a 5-mana thing for it to be like worth it. The problem is it's not that powerful overall. It's just a vanilla dude with charge. I'm assuming that charge is the same exact thing as charge, but pirate form, obviously.
Yeah, I'm sure he yells something cool.
Yeah, I bet you that his battle cry is insane. And I'm sure that I'm going to be quizzed on it at some point in the near future.
You never get quizzed on it because as soon as it's out, you're going to know it immediately.
That's true. It needs to be like a 5-mana 4/6 charge for it to be like a decent card. Anything more than that, and you're like getting ripped off, right? Like it's just a charge Yeti that's expensive sometimes and might be kind of cheap other times, but I doubt it because that's really not the pirate. It's not the pirate thing to have a million pirates out.
Yeah, and it is really reminiscent of the not bad, clearly good, I should say, Murloc counterpart that has what is he, a 2/4?
He's a 2/4 that gets pumps for each other Murloc.
Yeah, so he's definitely he gets better guaranteed stats, and like you said, pirates aren't one that are necessarily going to flood the board. But it's going to be a similar effect, assuming you can have a couple guys on the board. It's going to be around the same cost. It'll be interesting to see exactly how much play that gets.
Charge is definitely something that shouldn't be overlooked, especially charge.
They're going to have to change all the other pirates that have charge on them, like South Sea Deckhand.
Oh, yeah, South Sea Deckhand should get charge.
I mean, otherwise it's not playable, right?
No, not at all. Ha-ha!
Okay, well, this one isn't super exciting. We have a lot to talk about, and we're going to move on. Speaking of relatively exciting, so did you know that there's a Hunter card coming out in the next set that not only might make me capable of playing the class without hating myself, but might actively make me want to play it? Really something that you're not going to put into Face Hunter and just have it get better, like Quick Shot. Nope. You're not going to put it in mid-range hunter, but you might play a spell-heavy control hunter style.
Or combo hunter.
Yeah, or there might be a combo hunter out there, and it's going to really be tough for that to be counter because it's just so random. But nonetheless, Lock and Load is a 2-mana hunter spell. Each time you cast this... Each time you cast a spell this turn, add a random hunter card to your hand. We saw them play with this card in the show match, and he kind of went off with it. He saw 2 copies of it in one game, and he Hunter's Mark to pick up another Hunter's Mark, and it was kind of awkward because he couldn't use it right away. But actually, I think he did find a way to use it, right? Like, the
one guy died. Lock and load, Hunter's Mark, get another Hunter's Mark, Arcane Shot something.
Like, and then the guy had a secret that put a minion into play, and then he Hunter's Marked that.
Oh, yeah. Yes, so, he had a card that we'll talk about in a second.
Yeah, it makes the play awkward to have brought up, but you'll see more about it, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it in a little bit as well once we do see it. So, yeah, this will have you really able to replenish your hand, and we saw him able to do that. You know, we didn't see him get a lot of Savannah Highmanes. He did not get one. No Houndmaster or anything like that you'd see really being able to throw the game, or no weapons or anything like that. All of these will be possible to get off of a Lock and Load trigger, but what we did see him get was a lot of other spells, which helped feed it and keep it going. And we didn't do the math on this, but you have to wonder what the ratio is of hunter spells to minions to really know, or I'm sorry, spells to non-spells. You have to factor in the weapons to know, how likely it is. How many do you need in your hand to be able to go from 10 mana to 0 mana, doing nothing but casting spells and generating value? Because that could really feed a nice style of hunter deck that is able to play into the late game and not be your typical aggressive aggro deck.
Especially with cheap cards like Tracking, which Tracking is just like the perfect card for this because it triggers a Lock and Load and it allows you to search for, possibly another cheap spell and just go off in one turn. I'm going to be kind of interested to see like what the shell of it is though, because you still need to have a shell of a deck that can still win. Like you can't just have a bunch of spells and Lock and Load, right? Because you can still get some stinkers off of the Lock and Load, or you could just not draw the Lock and Load and just be in really bad shape.
Yeah, like if you're just playing all these mediocre cards, it becomes way more difficult to stay alive. You don't have the tools that Warrior does.
Right, and it's not like Magic where if you're playing a combo deck, you're going to have 4 copies of Lock and Load, so you can just jam your deck full. You only have... Well, I guess the ratio is still the same, right? Because it's half the size. So maybe it could work. It's just that this card doesn't necessarily win you the game, even if you quote unquote go off. You could just have a bunch of like random minions in your hand and not win on the spot. I guess it's going to be more like a value card where you're just going to basically draw like 5 cards off of it. Maybe 5 is probably a lot, but if you can draw. Well, I mean, you have Hunter's Mark, which is just a free cycle. So, who knows?
Arcane Shot will definitely be good. You have to figure a deck like that's not going to shy away from playing Emperor Thaurissan, so now you have one mana secrets and things like that. 2 mana kill commands. I shudder to think.
Yes, that sounds pretty good.
So yeah, we'll have to look for some new style of hunter deck out there. This seems really interesting. I love how it's able to be a card that flavor-wise lines up with Hunter really, really well, and also feeds the late game, which is almost counterintuitive to the hero ability in a way. But, that's not necessarily the case with some of the cards we'll see later on down the road, too. So, the whole, there's a whole mechanic that's going to come out that has the potential to really change Control Hunter and make it way more viable. So we'll talk about that soon, too.
For sure.
For now, we'll move on and look at Maiden of the Lake. Speaking of interacting with your hero ability.
Yeah, that's like one of the themes for the set is interacting with your hero ability.
Yeah, we'll see it on the next card too. But Maiden of the Lake is a 4-mana 2/6. Your hero power costs 1. Not 1 less, it costs 1. So at first glance, when you saw it and then it went away to the screen, it looked like maybe 2 of them out did some pretty significant
0 mana hero powers,
right? And yeah, it's just definitely they had these in all the decks. I want to say for the show matches.
Maybe I think they had Hunter. It in every single one. I think it was even in Hunter too.
It could have been and probably should have been with the way that deck was lined up. But yeah, this is going to be way more valuable after you see more of these cards, and as we get all the previews, this card's value will only go up. So it's half unfortunate that we saw it right away, but it just does set such a good tempo and a pace and a theme for the set. And really a card that to me, as a control player, I love it. It's got the really powerful toughness to help keep it alive and fight against the control decks. Make sure you get the added value of the cheaper hero ability the next turn. And just a phenomenal card all around to me.
I mean, Oasis Snapjaw has been a playable card in the past. So, like, this card's not that far off with no abilities, and then with that ability, and in combination, like you said, with a number of the other cards that we're going to see. This card could definitely be the centerpiece to some hero power style control decks, which I think I mean, just given the 15 cards that we've seen today, you know, we could definitely see the control decks going down that route instead of the traditional lines.
Yeah, and if these 15 cards were the only cards in the set, I think it would be all but guaranteed that you would see a shift in the meta towards that.
Right.
So the fact that literally 115 plus cards still to go can only mean, you know, great things and a lot of variety. So I'm sure aggro gets some love.
That there's that many cards. It's insane to think that there's that many cards left, because in Magic, you know that, like, if a set is like 200 cards, you know at least, like, set's 200 cards, 20 of them are basic lands, so there's really only like 180 cards. You know, what would you say, like 65% of those cards are limited only, like only relevant and limited. And then, you know, some of the cards are decent but never see constructed play, and then there's the couple that are constructed playable. In Hearthstone, like, everything is kind of in the mix, so we're going to see 130 cards that are going to be, you know, you're going to be able to play around with them, and at least experiment with them. Unlike, like, I mean, they don't really print, like, throwaway cards too often in Hearthstone. Like, there's no, like, random, like, 1/2s for one vanilla in Hearthstone anymore. Like, they don't do that. They don't do the reprints.
Yeah, because Magic has to build a standalone limited format too.
Right.
That plays a big part in, you know, the excitement level and how many cards can be really good. And here we see commons like Maiden of the Lake, where you know, there's a really good chance that this is going to be a 2 of in 5 of the 9 decks on my deck selection window when the set comes out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, really excited for this one, and part of the reason is because of this one, Koldara Drake.
Yeah, this guy.
A dragon. Very important to note that this is a very playable dragon we're about to discuss. It is an epic, so it will cost you 400 dust to craft him. But he's a 6-mana 6/6. You can use your hero power any number of times. So now your hero ability costs 1, and this is mage only. Your hero ability costs 1, and you can use it any number of times. So when you play this with 10 mana, you then also get to deal 4 damage with your hero ability, divided as you choose, which is really powerful as well.
Yeah, absolutely insane.
This was included in the show match for, I want to say it was Trump playing the mage deck, and he was able to beat, who was his first opponent?
Amaz.
Yeah, Amaz. Okay. And Amaz was playing Shaman, which has some really exciting options we'll talk about soon.
Yeah.
The combo of those 2 cards. The combo of those 2 cards, though, took down most of the games he played. Like, his wins were off the back of this, and really put Amaz back. So a very powerful card on its own, and a very powerful card in combination with other cards that we've already seen.
Yeah, this is, I mean, and it's a 6/6 for 6, which is already good enough. Just, straight up. I mean, the Ogre, Boulder Fist Ogre is already like, I mean, it's not really constructed playable, but the stats are constructed playable. And this is one fewer toughness with a like insane ability. Yeah, this is definitely going to be a player, I think, in that style of mage control deck.
Yeah, and I look forward to playing it. It was one of the things we talked about was how much I really wanted to build a mage control deck, and how I'm already like in my head brewing up how that would go, watching how powerful it played out in those show matches. So
when I first saw the Lady of the Lake, or the Maiden of the Lake, I thought it said your hero power costs one less. So I'm like, oh, if you have two of them out and you play this, you just go infinite. Oh my god, broken. I'm just gonna play nothing but duplicates and Echo of Medivhs and everything to make Maiden of the Lakes, and just try to get this like Splinter Twin combo, like just try to go off.
Yeah,
but it doesn't work. So sad. So sad.
It would have been pretty ridiculous, to say the least.
Yeah, it would have been absolutely broken if it were the case, but I thought maybe they missed it. Which, excuse me, they did say, Eric Dods did say that they were, as the developers, were interested to see where we as the community build and take the cards that they built. He said, you know, we tested these obviously, but we didn't do the heavy lifting. That's for you guys to do. We want to see what you guys come up with. Now, maybe they're just saying that to build excitement and to build the creativity, but in my mind, I'm like, they didn't play test this enough. There's probably something broken. Like this card, Calder Drake is probably broken. Like that's like, you know, those types of cards. Like you're getting into some really high-powered stuff that you make one wrong move, like the Lady of the Lake or something, like those types of cards that reduce costs, this thing that makes you be able to do something infinite, which is not something we see in Hearthstone very often. Yeah, one wrong move and Caldera Drake needs the nerf hammer like instantly, because it could just go, if there's a way somehow to make the Lady of the Lake thing work or something like that, then this card allows you to go off for infinite.
So the way the animation works, this would have been funny to think about, because it might not have been Splinter Twin since you're on time turns. The way the animation works is the hero ability flips over and then flips back over again. And there's a time frame where you can't queue it up. So it's curious how many times you could actually fit it in inside that time frame. Like, I wonder if, I don't know, we don't have to worry about it, but it would have been fun to think about for the 2 weeks.
Yeah, it would have been like, Patron Mage, like you just can't do it fast enough. Like if your opponent's at 60, they're not actually dead that turn. It takes 2 turns to kill them.
And God forbid you think for 30 seconds and then cast an Arcane Intellect and then draw into the second Lady of the Lake or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, no fun for the combo players.
Very exciting card, though. It's aggressively, statted. Like, they could have easily made this like a 7-mana 6/6 or like a 7-mana like 4/7 or something stupid. I mean, 4/7 might actually be better.
Yeah.
But, they could have made the stats on this pretty bad. Or they could have made it super expensive so that you can't use the hero power. They could have made it like 8, so you can only use the hero power once the turn it comes into play.
Yeah. But
they made it, mid level. Like, they obviously, you can't put this on a 2-drop. That's just insane. But a 6/6 for 6 is aggressively costed. It's old Sylvanas stats.
They could have made it a 7/5, and it would have been significantly worse for it.
Yes.
What's good about it is that if it's in fact broken, everybody will be playing Mage, and it dies to Fireball.
True, it does.
So they're a little built-in protection when they break Mage cards with 6 power.
True.
All right, well, let's move on, because we have another Giant in the mix here, John.
Yes, I'm excited about this card.
Frost Giant is a 10-mana 8/8 that costs 1 less for each time you used your hero power this game. When you draw it, it is already affected by that. Is how so that's how that's going to work.
It's just it's just like all the other Giants. It like just keeps a static count of how many times you've used it. Like, the game keeps track of it, not the card doesn't need to see you use the hero power.
Yeah, it's not worded like Bolvar. This is definitely going to keep track of it down the road. And just really a phenomenal design to me here. Any control deck can play this card and really get away with it. Warrior's going to hero ability as much as humanly possible, I think, is the rule of thumb for Warrior. Weave it in, get it in there every single time.
Too. And Hunter, too.
Hunter really wants to, and we're talking about slower, control-y versions of Hunter. This seems like exactly the best giant for a control Hunter build by far. And it's something that is definitely going to see some play, and it joins a limited group of minions that cost 10 mana.
True.
So I'm trying to think of what really else costs 10 that you can, like, I don't know, Deathwing. So
Deathwing costs 10. Sea Giant costs 10. Yeah. I think that's it, actually.
So there's a small chance you could recombobulator it into a 12/12. So
that is true. That is relevant.
It's like it's either a 33 or 25% chance, unless we're missing a 10-drop creature.
It doesn't get worse though. That's definitely the
no, right, and it's guaranteed. It's always going to heal itself back to an 8/8, and if it's taken damage, it loses that damage. If you haven't played the giant and recombobulator interaction yet, it's really strong. So kind of a slower control decks of every class are really going to benefit from this. Priest control right now doesn't really play much that has like more than six or more power. It just steals things away from you and gets really good value trades and has great efficient removal. And now this will give it more of its own proactive like bomb that can just end the game on its own.
Yeah, this guy, I mean, like with Molten Giant, you had to take damage. So, and it really only worked in Handlock, where you're going to want to be using the hero power every turn to draw a card and take damage. Like forcing yourself to take damage or letting yourself take more damage is kind of risky. So Molten Giant doesn't really work in everything. Mountain Giant, you have to kind of either be drawing a lot of cards or like sandbagging cards in order to get him to turn on, so that's also kind of hard. Sea Giant, you have to be playing a very specific type of deck. This guy, he can fit in almost anything. You're in almost every class. You're more than happy to use your, like you said, to weave your hero power in every turn and have this guy, only cost, 4 or 5 mana for you later on in the game. And it's really not costing you anything because you're happy to use your hero power every turn.
Yeah, our chat brings up a really good point. Archangel says, probably Druid being the worst class for them. Seems like it just wants to ramp its mana past this, you know what I mean? And it doesn't really rely on its hero ability.
Yeah, and you don't really need the 8/8 vanilla guy in Druid. That's not really what your game plan is usually. I mean, you could, but you're probably not gonna.
You want orange gems in the middle of your card, not purple.
Yeah. Well, no, you want purple too, but you just want those to be 6 mana spells that make treants.
Right, or draw you cards.
Or draw you cards, or are 5/10s.
That works too.
You want 5/10 taunts.
Well, we talked a little bit, guys. This is what Eric Dods showed us at the top of it. Then we kind of discussed this new mechanic. There's a keyword, Inspire, and you'll see here on the screen there's a little blue flag at the bottom of the card that indicates that it has it, similar to the Lightning Bolt 4. Comes into play effects or enters the battlefield triggers, however you would like to word it, and also Death Rattle. Inspire is definitely an interesting mechanic here. So whatever it says after Inspire happens when you use your hero ability.
Yeah.
Really, like we said, it's the theme. Getting more value out of those hero abilities. They're making them better and more important to the game. And this is a phenomenal concept to me. And it's nothing like anything I expected or would have thought they would do. I wouldn't have blinked an eye if there was no new keyword added with this set.
Yeah. I wouldn't have thought anything.
Yeah, I don't think it would have occurred to me that there wasn't one if they didn't do one. And the fact that it looks so cool to me is really interesting. So he showed us 2 cards right off the bat, and we saw the art for it already, but here's Lowly Squire. Has a bit of an Undertaker-esque feel to it, post-nerf, but it's a 1-mana, 1/2 with Inspire, gain 1 attack. So when you use your hero ability, it gets a little more powerful. Doesn't grit +1/+1. They learned their lesson on that. But,
yeah, that would be insane. This guy would be absolutely busted. He'd probably be better than Undertaker was.
Yeah,
because you always have the 2-mana death rattle every single turn, right. And you're always happy to use your hero power.
It still would have been. I mean, I still think it would have been worse because you're not like adding other minions to the board, so the game's not snowballing. But
you could be if you're using Shaman or Paladin.
That's very true. Didn't even really consider it that way. Aggro Paladin would have just been all over this card and probably the top deck since it would have just abused it the best.
Well, and as we'll be seeing soon, probably a certain variant of Shaman as well.
Yeah, that was insane. I can't wait to talk about those as well. Overall,
when I'm surprised about Shaman cards, you know something's up. I hate Shaman.
Overall, Lowly Squire, this is kind of filler. You know, this isn't great. Yeah,
probably
it is
pretty good. And the problem is that you need to work pretty hard to get him to be a 3/2. But a 3/2 for 1 is pretty good.
It is. You just, like you said, you have to work very hard for it, and the tempo loss is probably not there.
I'm thinking he's probably decent in Arena.
I'd love to do it against Priest, and it would be like worst case scenario against, I don't know, most other things, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so don't expect to see it, but don't be surprised if you do either, I guess.
Yeah.
This one, though.
Face.
This one, though.
Yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Nexus Champion Sarad is a 5-mana 4/5 with Inspire, add a random card to your hand. I didn't misspeak.
Random spell.
Oh, I'm sorry, a random spell to your hand.
You did actually misspeak.
I did, in fact, misspeak. Still, I think my mistake made the card worse.
Probably, actually.
Yes. So, oops, I'm just kidding. It's way better. Use your hero ability. Put a random spell in your hand. That's any class. I think we saw, what was it? Hunter ended a game with
he ended the game by Bloodlust Mind Blasting for lethal.
Yeah, classic Hunter move, clearly.
Yep.
It's definitely something we've seen before. Esports, what can I say?
Yeah.
It was... this card was in, I think, all of them as well, and it was just really insane. With a 1-mana hero ability that can be used multiple times, this happened. Like, multiple times. 5-mana 4/5, that's a solid stat distribution. It's keeping it in check a little bit, but 5 toughness is a really good number. It's a great place to be trying to keep a minion alive for the 1 turn to get value. This is going to be in everything. I think this is probably your first craft in the set, but that's obviously so soon.
Well, I mean, you could probably craft the pirate.
Clearly he just seems amazing. But he has, my point in saying that is that he's a neutral card. He's a lower cost minion. I mean, Legends at 5, there's not a whole lot of them that are at 5 and lower. Most of them are kind of hate cards. The one that comes to mind is Harrison Jones, and the other being Lothab. So, this is one that's a little more proactive, and this is one you would play on curve. And being a neutral minion, you're gonna see this in a lot of decks, if not most all of them. Almost no matter what direction they go in, really.
He provides, even in like an aggressive style deck, he provides I guess in a non-warlock aggressive deck, he provides late game card advantage at the end. Like, he's a great top deck, he's great in the early game, he's great in the late game. I mean, obviously the random factor is a little sketchy, but it's just free value every time. Like, 5-mana 5/4, like you said, probably about as good a stats as they could give him without being insane. But still, I mean, he's a 1-mana more expensive Yeti and has an absolutely insane ability. it just seems like, and like with the other cards we've seen so far, like, and other things that affect the hero power, like, this guy is just bonkers. I think he might be the Lotheb, the Sylvanas, the maybe not the level of Dr. Boom of the set, but I think he's definitely, like you said, a top. Definitely, I mean, we've only seen a couple of cards so far, but he's definitely the front runner for first craft legendary for the set.
I would be surprised if they beat him, and this isn't something I thought about. Like, guys, when we do these, like, I was literally watching the stream, barely even able to react to these cards. So you're literally getting our initial, like, never thought about this before, you know, what can we think of to do with this card? And
right.
I would be real surprised if they were able to top this for, not in power. There's going to be more powerful things, the more powerful legendaries that have more even WoW value to them. But at the end of the day, when you're talking to your friend that started playing 3 months after this set came out, and you're talking about what he needs to do with his dust, I think Nexus Champion Sarad will be top 3 to 5 in the whole game.
Really?
Just his flexibility comes into play with that. You know what I mean?
You're not crafting him before Dr. Boom.
No.
You're not crafting him before Sylvanas.
Maybe. Depends what your collection is skewed towards, because it always will.
Sure, but I mean, this person's collection, I guess maybe, because I guess if this person that starts 3 months from now or 4 months from now, their collection is going to be skewed towards Inspire mechanics. So I guess maybe this would be better. Maybe, I don't know. Sylvanas is so good though.
She is, and in my head right now, like, she was one of the ones I was putting above it. But there's a chance you're considering it down the line. We'll have to see. Yeah,
I mean, maybe he's 3 though, because like the other ones that would be in contention are from Nax and from Blackrock Mountain, like Lotheb and Emperor.
Yep.
Those are both. And then everything else is like, I mean, maybe Rag, but you really don't need Rag. You could use something else instead of Rag.
And as we've seen more cards come out, we've seen Rag played less and less.
True.
I can't even. I've seen him played against me plenty. I can't even remember the last time I put him in a deck.
I used him in Handlock a little bit, but only to you don't really ever need him.
Yeah, even like Control Warrior to me, I cut him a long time ago and haven't really looked back.
Yeah, there's just better out. Like, what's his name? Nefarian is usually better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, maybe he is number 3 in terms of crafts. Like, I can't really think of anything. Like Sylvanas and Boom are probably the only 2 that I can think are like definitely ahead of him.
Yeah.
In terms of neutral legendaries.
So top 5, which kind of like seemed a little crazy even as it came out of my mouth, almost might have been a conservative number.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. Well, now we're going to get into the cards, guys, where we had to grab screenshots of them while they played with them.
Yeah.
Some of the quality might be a little suspect. I do apologize for that. Most of them are pretty okay, though. And you're going to start to see them 4 at a time because there's not nice background images to outline them. And I wanted to get the show started so there's no fancy animations or anything like that. So we're just going to move right into them and start left to right as we discuss them. Boy, that second one's exciting, huh?
Doesn't really seem like it.
Cotto Rider, however, sure seems pretty strong to me. He's a 6-mana 3/5 with the Inspire ability to summon a 3/5 War Cotto. Not a Cotto Rider, because that would be broken. This guy's not going to find his way into an aggro deck. I don't think this minion costs 6 mana. I think this minion costs 8 mana. Because I think
6/10.
Right. You have to guarantee that value in order to really make it worth the 6 mana. But maybe it costs 7 mana because your hero ability only costs 1. That's very reasonable as well.
That is true. And if you throw an Emperor in the mix somewhere in there, maybe, you know.
Man, like we said, Emperor is just going to get better and better every time they print cards, isn't it?
Yeah. This guy's definitely, I mean, he definitely pays you for building around Inspire and trying to abuse Inspire. Like, filling up your board with 3/5s is not anything to scoff at. I mean, they're just vanilla guys, but end of the day, you know, you make the guy the turn he comes into play because you play him on 8, and then next turn you know, start your turn with him, make another one. Like, you're in really good shape, even if you know, are just chump attacking with the 3/5s. Like, you're in really good shape.
Yeah, for certain. And you know, maybe this finds its way into that Mage control deck because it's got that 1-mana hero ability that can be cast as many times as you want. And
yeah, I mean, those are just the magical Christmas, insane, awesome land games. But yeah,
I mean, they are, but there's bound to be a curve to it. I mean, one of them, like 2 of these now cost 6. And to be fair, this one is the one that might not make it into that one, but he's pretty powerful, and he's in that late game. Yeah, that's very true too.
Yeah, the best part about these is that they're really good top decks late game, and like, even if you just have to play vanilla 3/5 for 6, like, it's not the end of the world. It's not good, but you know, if you have a board and you know, you play this guy, just play him out and they can't kill it, then you know, you're in just as good a shape, right? Like, it's not bad.
You stole the words right out of my mouth. I'm like, this is like the perfect card to draw late in the game when nobody has cards left and you're just trying to find something.
Yeah. Also, just absolutely broken in Arena. Like, this might be a top 5 card in Arena.
Really nice to see at Epic, because when I play Arena, which is admittedly not very often, I always hate when I see Epics. They're not ever really that great. Like, they're good, not great. There's a lot of spells in there, and you know, sometimes the spells are just complete misses. And then you also have like the South Sea captains of the world just kind of hanging out there, like these awkward Murlocs that you don't want. Cotto Rider's the antithesis of that. He's just, thank you, and move on. Nothing else matters. Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I think he might be, I'm pretty sure he's a top 5 card in Arena, just like off the top of my head.
I can't argue with it. I can't even really frame much of an argument against it at all.
Wait, well, hold on. Do you pick this or Tyrion?
Ooh.
We're bringing it back up, boys.
You got, by all means, you conceded.
I'm gonna get a point back to the Blevin side. We're gonna get. Are you picking Tyrion or are you picking this? Because I'm just gonna pick this.
I'm picking Tyrion 100.
Oh, it's back on. We're getting it. We're getting Crip and why can't I think of his name? Masan. Yeah, we're getting Crip and Masan to vote on it. Although it's kind of a moot point because you can't ever have them in the same pack. But in theory, one of them has to be better, right?
If you could only, like, if you don't know, like, if you had to pick between the 2 of them going into first pick, which would you want? And I would pick Ball of Spiders, John. Ball of Spiders is a 6-mana hunter spell. Summon 3 web spinners.
How is that a ball?
How is it 6 mana? That's the ball part, I guess. I don't know. Just all the mana's just clumped up while these little tiny web spinners are in there.
That's like only a couple on there. Yeah, that seems like, I mean, I'm just trying to put a positive light on this card. Like, it's card advantage, I guess, but it's so expensive. It's no, pass. Next.
So here's what Crip said about it that seemed really smart to me, and it was an Arena discussion because Crip said it. And it's that this is a 6-mana 3/3 that draws 3 cards. So in Arena, this is not the worst thing in the world. This is by far, something you can have in a 12-win deck, I would say. You're not going to call shot it and want it, but you would take it and not complain about it, I think.
Yeah.
So look for it in Arena, but I don't think you want anything to do with this in Constructed.
I don't think so. It should be like Implosion, where it like deals 3 damage and creates 3 web spinners. That would probably be really good at 6 mana.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it would be better than this card, but like, deals 3 damage, to any source, so you can go face 2. 3 damage, create 3 web spinners for 6 mana. That's not bad. It's probably really good.
If you have Starving Buzzard out, it's good too.
Oh my god, that would be insane.
Too bad Starving Buzzard is rendered unplayable.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk about a card that's going to get more valuable on the next page. Or more powerful on the next page.
Yeah.
Draenei Totem Carver is a 4-mana 4/4 with Battlecry, gain +1/+1 for each friendly totem.
Jim, that card seems pretty bad. There's really not any good totems.
No, why would you ever have enough totems to give this value on turn 4, John? It just doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't see currently any uses for such a terrible card.
Definitely not any totems. This is probably just a one-shot throwback to the old sets. There's probably not a totem sub-theme in this set. Why would there be?
So, keep this... there's really nothing else for us to say other than, like, keep this in mind, and we'll talk about it more when we talk about the other shamans. I should have... Like, I did it so fast, I should have just put them all next to each other, but... Oops. Effigy.
Oops, a ball of spiders.
Right. Womp womp.
You just open up a pack. Oops, it's a ball of spiders. Damn it.
I'm gonna be really mad when I get that in like Warrior. I get ball of spiders off of the new legendary, Squire, whatever his name is. I'm so bad at the names. I've already forgotten the name of everything already.
It's like Demon Camel, I think is the name of the card.
Sarad. Anyways. Effigy is a 3-mana Mage secret. Ooh. When a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion with the same cost. Really a card that kind of, you know, thinking about it helps in a mid-range or an aggressive style of Mage deck quite a bit. If you think about something like a Harvest Golem dying when you have an Effigy out, you're now going to get, let's say, a Spider Tank and your 2/1. So, kind of gives every minion a death rattle effect, and it's just a card that helps you maintain a board presence. We saw it played in the after show, and it was fairly interesting. I really kind of liked its applications, and I have no fear of it being broken. I just think it's a decent card that's going to see some play.
Yeah, it makes your, like you said, your Battlecry guys much better. Like Antique Healbot, you know, you gain your 8 life, you trade with a 3/3. I mean, they have to trade for you, but you know, you trade with an X3, and then you get a random 5-drop guy, which when you play an Antique Healbot is probably going to end up being better than the Antique Healbot. So you can get some real value off those underpowered, overcosted Battlecry guys. You know, you can get value off of that. Besides that, you know, I mean, it's got that Recombobulator feel. It's like almost exactly Recombobulator in secret form. So, you know, maybe it ends up being really good. Kill your Alexstrasza, get a Mal'Ganis every time.
Oh, well, sign me up for that. I think that would be pretty strong.
Yeah.
So, the thing I was just thinking of something. Oh, yeah, this kind of interferes with your ability to test for duplicate, too. Which adds a nice little wrinkle to playing against a Mage, and you know, how people will play against you when you're Mage too. There's no pressure there. You just get to sit back and let that happen. But every other Mage secret had a specific way to test for it. Play a spell, it wasn't countered. Great, or my coin resolves, so now I can actually cast the card I care about.
Right.
I play my garbage minion, and I get now a good one, and you know, you then see that they didn't have it. So, you know, everyone had a specific way to test for it, and this one overlaps with duplicates. So, it'll be really interesting to see how that factors into things and how that changes your decision when you're playing against it.
True. Very good point. I didn't even think about that, but yeah, that's a really good point.
All right, guys.
Oh, we found...
This is literally a page full of shaman cards, and I left one of them on the other page. I'm just so mad at myself. I don't know.
No, you put a random Mage card in there instead of the shaman card.
And there's a Mage card over here. I'm just the worst.
Yeah. Well, you also put 2 of the costs. Okay, you errated at the bottom. Already.
Yes. There was an Emperor Thorsan interfering with my screenshots, so the corrected mana cost is at the bottom of the card. Tuskar Totemic is a 3-mana 3/2 that summons any random totem.
Yes.
Look at the last card. Yeah.
It's a 3/4 totem for 2 mana.
And that is actually, I'm sorry, that is a 3 mana 3/4 totem, right? Or
no.
is it?
It is
2
mana.
Jeez.
It is 2 mana. The card's insane.
That's just absolutely crazy. I, even looking at it, thought it was a mistake. Anyways, we'll talk about that one in a couple minutes. Summon any random totem. So it can summon any of the ones you can make, presumably, and it can also summon Mr. Totem Golem over there, which definitely didn't happen twice in the first 3 turns of a game in the show games.
Yep, it went turn 2, turn 2, coin out this guy, get a Tuskar Golem. Turn 3, or Totem Golem. Turn 3, play another Tuskar Totemic, get another Totem Golem. Turn 4, play a 2-drop spell and a 3rd Totem Golem.
And he actually had an opportunity to play the Thunderbluff Valiant and trigger it with like 5 totems out. Like he opted not to do that because lethal was guaranteed if the guy didn't kill anything. You know what I mean? So it was the right thing to do, but nonetheless took away the flashy turn for the cameras that highlighted the new stuff.
So disappointing.
So Tuskar Totemic is really, really strong by all appearances. It is a little undercosted for its stats, but the upshot of being able to hit that Temple Golem, it's going to be, what, 1 in 6 or 7?
I think they said 1 in 8 on the show, but that may or may not be wrong. It also may or may not be different given the texture of the rest of the set. So we don't know. I mean, there could be any number of new totems in the new set, presumably. And we're also unsure if it can summon only the ones that you can... If it can summon any of the totems, including the ones you can create from the hero power, or if it just summons the ones that you can get in packs. We're not sure. They didn't actually summon any of the ones that you can make from your hero power during the matches that we saw, so we're unsure.
Yes. My instinct is that you will be able to make the hero ability ones. Yeah. But until it's confirmed, and I'm sure it's highly probable Ben Brode's already confirmed it on Twitter. But nonetheless, this is something I think you can expect to see, and just looks to me like Shaman is going to be able to at least pull out an aggressive aggro style to them. A 2 mana 3/4 with only the price of overloading 1 is kind of out of this world. So I'm really excited about the potential of that, as Shaman is one of my favorite classes. It's just never good enough to actually play, so I'm still I still play Mech Shaman every season for a little bit at the beginning because I'm just like, I can get away with it and it's fun and it lets me play some of these cards. I wish Shaman wasn't tied so much to aggression. It's a healing class. It should theoretically be able to do some kind of control game, but we'll take it as it comes, and we'll we'll take the creature-based aggressive or mid-range version that I think we'll see soon.
This totem totem package seems pretty strong right now.
It does. Especially cards like this Tuskar Totemic that add multiple minions just make Bloodlust more powerful too. So
yeah, the 1x Bloodlust in that deck is probably going to be pretty sweet. Although the Thunderbluff Shaman is basically its own like Bloodlust on a stick, which is pretty insane.
It's true. So let's get this silly Mage card out of the way here. John, after everything we've seen about Mage today and about the hero abilities, what did Mage's 1 mana hero ability that can be repeated as many times as you want throughout a turn, what did it need, John?
I think it needed an extra point of damage.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure spell power +1 for that guy. Fallen Hero is a 2 mana 3/2 that when you use your hero power, it deals 1 extra damage. So the exact wording is your hero power deals 1 extra damage. It sure looked great in the show match. You know, the classic 4 mana ping down your 2 toughness guy seemed really strong.
Yeah, on turn 4, or no, I guess it was turn 3, play this guy, coin hero power, kill your Huffer, was a highlight that was that we saw. Really good play.
Yeah, and I think he just kind of took over that game after that, because the next turn he's got a Leok, and it was just kind of over from there. So
yeah, I mean, it's just like it's already like 2 mana 3/2 is exactly where you want to be with a card like this. Like, sure, you could have made this like you You maybe could have switched like the stats on this in like Lady of the Water, but I think that this fits better on a 3/2 than it does on the 2/6 for 4.
Yeah, I think it's Maiden of the Lake, but I'm just
Maiden of the Lake.
I've been guessing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've changed the word configuration of it like 100 times by now. I've said like girl by the puddle, like Lady of the Lake, Maiden of the swamp. Like I've said like every iteration of girl and body of water. Like
yeah, I'm completely guessing on all of them.
Yeah, Sarad. I have no idea what it's actually called.
I think it's Sarad, though I don't know the first 2 words of his name.
Nexus Brawler or Nexus Champion or...
Nope. Nexus Champion Sarad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, here's the thing, though. That's interesting. That's really interesting. Why is it called Nexus Champion? What is the Nexus, Jim? The Nexus is Heroes of the Storm.
Okay, so if we want to talk about it a little bit.
The Nexus Champion.
He is a race that lives in the void. In the Nexus in the void.
So he lives in Heroes of the Storm. Is this the Raven Lord? You think this is the Raven Lord?
No, I don't. I think the Raven Lord would have the word.
Be more powerful.
But I also am not really too sure who the Raven Lord is. So maybe.
Yeah, he's just some made up guy from like the Nexus. Maybe that guy is too. I don't know. It's just really weird that they have a game about champions in the Nexus, and this guy's called Nexus Champion.
Well, that's
like they could have very easily just called him Sarad.
Heroes took that from Warcraft.
Sure, but that doesn't. I mean, this card came out after Heroes. Like they should have that in mind while they're doing it. It's like if they had a card that was called like Overwatch Sniper Gazlo, like you'd think that they would take the time to like, oh, this guy's not actually in Overwatch. Let's change the name because it's very confusing because we have a game called Overwatch that has snipers. We should probably change the name of the card.
You're just mad that there's a character that they can almost never put into Heroes of the Storm.
They can put that hero into Heroes of the Storm.
Nexus Champion. Well, you would just make him like Sarad or whatever.
They would just call him Sarad like they should have done on the Hearthstone card. I don't know why they didn't.
That's probably true. He's almost got to have a last name.
Yeah, or just, you know, you're talking about him like he's a real person. Like, he's got to have a last name. Like, how was he born without a last name? He's a fictional character. They can make up whatever they want.
It happened with Sharon. She's real.
Kind of.
Well, we'll move on here, as I don't know how we started talking about Sarad from Fallen.
No idea.
Although, yes, I do, because you're just adding value over and over again on like every card we talk about. And speaking of adding value to the hero ability, Thunderbluff Valiant is a 5-mana. God, that's so hard to say when you're looking at it. It says 4. Is a 5-mana 3/6 with Inspire to give your totems +2 attack. That's not this turn. That's forever.
It's forever, yeah. Oh, God, that card's so stupid.
He's really, really strong. I don't really know what else to say about him. I mean, the fact that... And, man, how's this going to work? If you... Hero ability, does that totem get +2 attack? We'll have to go back and watch, because that had to have happened.
Yeah, I don't actually know.
I think he would, the way some other things line up.
The way a lot of the other templating works, it would give it. Yeah, this guy's like Quartermaster for Shaman.
Yeah.
Except there's more cards that are totems than there are Silverhand Knights. Like, and it has better stats than Quartermaster, and you can do it multiple times. I mean, I guess the payoff, the trade-off is that Quartermaster is cheaper to do the turn. It's cheaper to do like the turn of, but you get a much greater and longer lasting effect. I guess the long lasting effect is the same, but you get a much greater effect from this guy. And the other cards that will get the payoff from him are better than the ones for Quartermaster.
It's true. And I think what you were trying to say a little bit is like, because it's a worse effect because it's not also pumping the toughness, but
right.
The guys come with a harder toughness, and this is repeatable. So you do this turn, and then you do it the next turn. I mean, this will snowball like crazy if you can't kill both him and the totems now. You almost need like hard removal.
Right.
and mass removal, and we're just getting closer and closer to what is the 9 mana kill everything?
8 mana Twisting Nether.
Yeah, Twisting Nether. It's
or maybe what's his name? Maybe Deathwing gets his time to shine.
Oh, I always like getting Deathwinged. Well, we'll move on to the last card here. Totem Golem is a 2 mana 3/4. I said it, and he's a totem. He has the card type, so he gets +2 attack when you inspire your Thunderbluff Valiant. He's also summonable off Tuskar Totemic, as we said. And
Insane.
Yeah, Overload for 1. Not if you get him off Totemic.
Overload for 2.
And he'd still...
I thought he was over. Wait, it was funny because when I first saw the card, I didn't realize he was a totem, and I thought he was Overload for 2, and I still thought the card was good.
I thought he was 3 mana until even after I wrote 2 mana at the bottom, came back, looked at it, and said, "Clearly, I made a mistake."
Yeah, this is a 2 mana spider tank.
Yeah,
like just frame it like that, and all of a sudden this card's insane, and it has a well, not as relevant as Mech, but still very relevant minion type.
Yes, very. And there's already there's give totems extra toughness. That's already there.
Well, that card's not going to get played.
Probably not, but it really has a chance to. I mean, if this Shaman deck has to play more like Zoo than Face Hunter, there's a chance.
I can see it.
It's not a great chance, but these, if your totems all have 4 toughness or whatever they end up with 5, they're going to live longer once you start triggering Thunderbluff Valiant and things like that. Well, we'll have to see. There's also the 0/4 totem already that gains you life every turn. Man.
Yep.
So many cool things and good things, it looks like, going on in Shaman.
Yeah, and hopefully this isn't the extent of the totem package that we get. I hope we get a #bigger totem package.
Yeah. It'll, I mean, that's what we all want, right? I can't think of anybody that wouldn't want that. All right, John, so do we want to talk about the extra little something that we got? The little extra thing we found out about?
The little teaser. Yeah, this is the last thing that they were revealing. That's not just the Hearthstone set.
New haircut hype!
Oh my god.
Oh, Frodan. Why you do this?
So bad.
Why you do this?
Worst haircut NA, not close.
It's I can't even come up with anybody that would be remotely close. He takes the cake. At least in the Hearthstone world.
Yeah, it's really bad.
And
speaking of really bad.
Oh my god. So if you're a fan of the after show, we quit. Not the after show, we're still doing that. We're not doing these brawls anymore. I don't even want to get my free pack. Brawl Boys, Heart of the Sunwell. Everybody's got 10 mana go. It's mute it right now if you don't want to know what the best deck is, and I don't think it's close. It took me 4 seconds to figure it out. Play Priest. Play Mind Games. Play, the one that...
Mind Control.
Mind Control, everything. You just play Priest. It's phenomenal. The only time I lost when I did it was the 3 mirror matches against Priest, and they all involved them. Literally 3 games where my opponent has Kel'Thuzad Sylvanas going off, and I'm just like, I can't stop this. So bad. And if one of them was literally right off of Deathwing, he goes Deathwing into Sylvanas, and I have Sneeds out that already had 5 toughness, so he triggers that, and KT pops out of my Sneeds when he kills his Sylvanas. So then Sylvanas steals Sneeds, goes over to his side, and re-resurrects Sylvanas, and I just lost. And it was just the most devastating. And right after he goes Deathwing, discards 6 cards. And I just 3 mana Shadow Word Death it, and he just picks up Sylvanas and wrecks my face. It was pretty horrifying.
Seems pretty good.
Honestly, looking back at it, it was kind of fun. But I'm just going from he casts Deathwing and I go GG. I'm like, oh cool, I won it just 1 game. I'm done. Don't have to do it anymore. Yeah. And then I had to play 4 times. So. It was a bad day.
I won my first game. I played Druid, and the guy just played a bunch of stupid 7 mana garbage spells and hero powered every turn, and I went Poison Seed Starfall 15 for 1 him and had a bunch of cards in my hand. So That was nice.
Yeah, it seems like it would get there.
Yeah, it was all right. Turn 1, Alex to Rogue. He conceded. Nice.
That's so funny. Yeah, the games are just so swingy and so crazy, and I didn't feel like skill had very much to do with much of what was going on.
There's no skill, and there's really no fun in this either. Like, in Magic, like, this could be fun if you had infinite mana, because you'd be doing, like, crazy things. Here, you're just like, oh, I played a big guy. Go. Oh, you played a big guy. Okay. Like, that's not that fun.
Right? Like, Force Tank Max, turn 1. It's like, what?
Yeah, yeah.
Ugh.
Okay. You got it.
I fell asleep whilst you were casting 7 mana on turn 1, and I managed to fall asleep. I think the best turn 1 I had was like the 1 mana that gives me a card from their hand, but I stole his coin. And then it was all turn 1, so I steal his coin with that, and then I go Thought Steal, and then like I picked up another Thought Steal off him, and then like just proceeded to lose because he went huge guy, and just my answers were awkward. I don't know. It was just weird.
Yeah.
I hoped for it to be fun when I saw what it was, and it just didn't happen. So
no.
We started to talk about it at the beginning, and I guess we'll kind of throw it in now, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them while we talk about this. The disappointment, we talked about we were a little disappointed at the top of the show, and then we got off on a tangent and then abandoned it. I'm calling it, guys. I'm never gonna bring up tournament mode again. I died inside. Not gonna happen. I died inside when I figured that out while they didn't announce tournament mode. If they were ever going to do it, they were going to do it with the tournament set. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Yeah, it's just a sad.
It's not going to happen.
It's sad.
It's sad days, boys. They're
going
to just let.
Sweet.
Yeah, the cards and the art are really cool. The theme is really cool.
No.
The fact that that's all we get. It's not even that that's all we get. Like, totally happy that we're getting a new set. Totally happy that we're going to be able to play with it in 2 weeks, right? Like, 2 weeks is when it said it's available in next month. Although they didn't say when next month.
It's anytime next month.
Yeah, my naive, willful brain is thinking like, oh, at August 1st at 12 midnight, the packs will become available to play. Like, that's what I want, but I know it's not going to happen. So, I'm just going to say in a month, we'll see the packs. Hopefully less than a month. But it's just that they built it up so much. It's like, okay, you could have just said, we're going to do the set announcement. We're going to do this. It's like, they didn't add any, there was nothing else. That's it. Like, even if they had, like, oh, this is the new set. Like, if they did it like what they're doing with Heroes, it's like, oh, we're going to announce the grand tournament, and the next 3 months are going to be the grand tournament, and we're going to have the new set, and there's going to be new heroes every week. Like, you get 1 hero per week for, every week. I don't know. And then, there's going to be this other thing, and there's going to be a big grand tournament party hosted by Archon on this. Like, they could have done a lot of stuff that even, like, it's not anything super like new or innovative, but it would have like tied in with that theme of the grand tournament and just played off of that. It would have made the whole sending out all this stuff and saying, hey, we're announcing that we're going to do an announcement of an announcement on the 22nd. Be there. Like, they could have, it was just like, oh, actually, it's just a set.
Yeah, be slightly less ambiguous with your hype. I'm okay with the scroll, but when you tell me there's going to be a live stream to tell me, like, the direction the game is going in, that to me doesn't mean, like, here's some new cards. That means there's a shift in our focus and how, you know what I mean? Like, the core of the game.
Way bigger things than just a new set. Which is why they should hire me for their marketing team, because I obviously would have done a much better job than they did.
All in all, I can't hate on their marketing too much. This almost seems This almost seems like it's not even done by the marketing department, like the little hype. Like, I don't know. But it prompted us to make this image prior to knowing anything else about. Like, it was just all ambiguous. We're like, something's happening on the 22nd. And they were so excited about it that this is what came out.
Yes, the Blizzard hype train.
This is your fault, Ben Brode.
And we know that you're listening because you are a confirmed listener of the show.
Yeah, we've confirmed that without ever talking to him.
Yeah, considering that you announce almost everything at like 5 o'clock on Wednesday, that's like the perfect time. So you have to be watching the show. You have to get it out of the way so that you can watch the show.
Right. He wants to hear us talk about it because our opinion is very important to him.
Yes,
but he's mad at us a little bit because we're always giving him grief. So that's why he waits till 5, because he would just put it out at like noon, and then I would just have it in the slides already. But he always makes me go back and rewrite the slides. It's the worst. Thanks, Ben. All right, so we don't really have any questions here. Everybody's heads are just spinning too much with all the new information. And John, we made it, man. We don't have to plan these things for a while.
So we made it to the next chapter.
Oh,
of spoilers.
It looks like we just had a follower. At least I heard it. I didn't think there was a follower alert on the screen, but nonetheless, if that's true, thank you so much. And yeah, I will address you in the after show as we're about to wrap up here. So my guess here, John, I know you said the 1st. That's a Saturday, so I'm not expecting a new set on the 1st. And I know you weren't being serious about that anyways. But they've always released things on Tuesday with Hearthstone so far. The new Wings of Naxxramas and BRM came out on Tuesdays. I don't know the day of the week we got.
Oh, BRM came out on... Oh, no, yeah, it was Tuesday. Yeah, was it? Yeah, it was Tuesday.
It's usually almost always been Tuesday. The only thing I don't know about is GVG's release date. I'm guessing it's a Tuesday, but I don't know. So I'm going to go ahead and put my claim on the 11th here, because the 4th is the first Tuesday we have. And they do like to do things at the beginning of the month, so they'll do it on the 4th if they can get there. But I think the 11th is the time we'll actually see it.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, I'll take the 11th, I guess.
So it's kind of daunting to think that we have 2 more shows to discuss 115 more cards.
Oh yeah.
If
These
that's
shows
true.
Are pre-written. We might have to... Oh, we might... who knows what we're going to do. We might have to pre-record these and have them set out for 4 weeks. Oh, wait, that doesn't even make sense. That's the opposite of what we need to do.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely wouldn't pre-record them. We would just talk about things that we've been playing for a couple weeks.
Yes, this is definitely not a recording.
If it's on YouTube, I hate to break it to you, it's a recording.
Yeah, this is a recording, guys.
If you're in chat on Twitch right now, no, it's not. We are streaming live to you as well. You're not, in fact, dreaming.
What's the thing that they always tell streamers to do to prove that they're not? Oh, it's like mention, it's like mention something stupid or riot because we're not sure if it's real.
I thought it was like you have to put something on your head, like put your shoe on your head.
Oh yeah, it's something stupid like that.
I know when Thin Mint got Forsen bombed, they made her
she
put
got
a shoe
Forsen
on
bombed.
Yeah, she got Forsen, boys.
Nice.
Yeah, and she put her shoe on her head for them.
You can't submit to the Forsen boys.
No,
That's
it was a sellout, but if it got her some followers, I can't blame her.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to take care of it for this week. Next week, well, I'm sure we'll be just as excited and ready to talk about the new things that are coming. Sure looks like the game's going to change a ton. John, any final thoughts here on the new stuff?
Nope. Nothing.
All right. Well, until next week, I am Jim, that's John. This has been Unleash the Podcast, and thank you guys so much for stopping by.
Adios.